Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Central Texas High School Football Preview Show on KXAN. Plus, I'm your host, Billy Gates, and it is the greatest time of year for a high school football fan, the first round of the Texas High School Football Playoffs, the by-district round, and here to talk about it, here to talk about everything here is KXAN Sports Director Roger Wallace. And Roger, we've got a ton of games going on. We're going to air 2 games on KBVO starting Thursday tonight, which is when we're taping this. We've got a good one tonight. Who we seeing tonight?
Yeah, tonight we're going to be at Dripping Springs, and what a story, Dripping Springs and Vista Ridge. The Tigers get that top seed in Division II because of their win over Westlake at Westlake last Friday night. I think that surprised a lot of people. Vista Ridge had to win over Westwood to get into the postseason. They did that in a high-scoring game, so we'll have that one tonight at 7 o'clock on KBVO. We've seen Vista Ridge a couple of times this year on KBVO. They dealt with a quarterback injury in Caden Arnaud, but Cameron Lasik has stepped in nicely. And then Dripping Springs is just absolutely playing great football. Their only loss, a 14-7 loss to Lake Travis, beat Westlake impressively on the road.
Yeah.
And Chase Ames is their quarterback. He's been really good, and they've got a bunch of big, tough receivers. And so this should be a fun game tonight. And then tomorrow night we'll be back on the air on KBVO with Lake Travis and Round Rock.
Yeah, so just a quick programming note. Both these games are on KBVO. That's channel 14 over the air if you're using the old bunny ears. If you're not, if you're using YouTube TV like myself and many other people, just search for KBVO. You'll find it there. We can't run any of our games on KXAN.com or KXAN Plus during the playoffs due to various agreements with the UIL, NFHS Network, Victory Plus, which is who will air the Westlake and Vandegrift game on Friday. So unfortunately, Shaps fans, you can't come to us for the game. You'll have to go to Victory Plus for that, and that's going to involve some kind of subscription. But anyway, enough about...
How about that game?
Right, yeah, that game should be good.
How about
right?
that game? You got a reigning state champ in
Yeah.
Vandegrift in 6AD2 and a reigning runner-up in 6AD1 in Westlake playing a first-round game at Monroe Stadium. So
Yeah.
one team that played 6 games last year in the postseason, their season will come to an end tomorrow night.
That is a crazy by-district matchup, and which is why I assume Victory Plus wanted to grab that one. So that's where you have to watch that game. Back to the game we're going to air tonight on KBVO, Vista Ridge and Dripping Springs. Roger, you talked about it a little bit. Dripping Springs 45-35 win over Westlake. It's the first win the Tigers have ever had over Westlake. You know, they've been 6A for the past 3-4 years now, so they haven't been in the same kind of district for very long. However, a landmark win for the Tigers, obviously. Chase Ames, the trigger man, 412 passing yards against the Shaps, 5 touchdowns. Nobody does that against Westlake. That's absurd.
Yeah, and they went back and forth. This thing was a 7-point game, tie game, 7-point game, and then Ames throws a touchdown to Cooper Reed, the big 6'5" receiver who's headed to Arizona State.
Yeah.
To me, though, they get a stop, and then Galen Zimmerman, you talk about A, guts, and B, confidence in your kicker. They line up for a 44-yard field goal, up 7 with just over a minute to go. You make it game over pretty much. You miss it, all of a sudden Westlake, who'd been moving the ball, has a pretty short field to tie it up, and Ian French, the kicker, just banged it home like it was an August practice.
Like he was kicking an extra point. Man.
To ice the game.
Yeah, that kick had room to spare from 44. It's crazy how good the kickers are these days, especially in high school football, man. When I was playing high school football, I mean, we would kick field goals if we were up 50 points just for fun. Like it wasn't like anything where like we needed to have 3 points or else we'd risk losing the game. That's crazy.
My first question when we meet with coaches is the kicker a weapon, serviceable, or something else?
Liability.
and really where it comes into play, Billy, is the kickoffs. And we do these games every week. And it is a chess match trying to figure out if you don't have a kicker that can kick it to the end zone, the pop-up kick, the squib kick, and inevitably the pop-up kick doesn't go far enough and you're giving up 40 yards of field position, or they kick it out of bounds. A good pop-up kick goes down to about between the 25 and the 30. They have to call a fair catch and everything. But that is a cat and mouse game at the high school football level. To have a weapon like that is is really valuable. But they've got Dripping Springs got a lot more than that. I mean, think about what they did in week 1.
Yeah.
They took Vandegrift and they were celebrating a state title and beat them 41-14 on the first Friday night of the season.
Yeah, that's way to set the tone for sure for the season. Going back to this Dripping Springs Westlake game, just want to go over some numbers. Just crazy numbers from the Tigers. Jason Gata, 21 carries, 133 yards on the ground. Again, not a ton of people are rushing for 100 yards against that Westlake defense. You mentioned Cooper Reed, 7 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. Merrick Bloomgren had the big night, 8 catches, 160, and a pair of touchdowns. And let's see, let me get to James Montgomery here for Dripping Springs. My computer's being slow. 4 catches, 114 yards with a long of 80 and a touchdown. So just stuff that just doesn't happen against Westlake. Dripping Springs was able to do. Just crazy.
Mention Reed, he's 6'5", Bloomgren's 6'4". So again, you have those type size bodies that have great ball skills, and that's a great weapon for this Dripping Springs team. And again, Galen Zimmerman's built quite a program. These guys aren't coming out of nowhere to do this. It's just they're beating teams that really make you take notice. Yeah. Vandegrift to start it and Westlake to end the regular season.
Yeah, that's quite a schedule. Now, Vista Ridge, on the other hand, they've got some firepower of their own as well. Jonas Spikes, 12 carries, 131 yards against Westwood last week and a 38-34 win. Vista Ridge, they needed that one to get into the playoffs.
That's right. They were part of that 3 teams looking for 2 spots with McNeil and Round Rock. And, they get in. I mentioned the quarterback change because of injury to Caden Arno. Right. And, they've got a running back that, one of the names in Central Texas, Quinn Sizatowski. Yeah. But you're right. Spikes has emerged.
Don't ask us to spell it.
Spikes is like Coach K with an S.
Yeah.
But Spikes has emerged. He's got a little more twitch, a little quicker.
Sure.
Sizatowski's tougher. They're both not real big. And then they have a kind of an X-Factor kid in Deshaun Castillo. He can take it to the house anytime he touches it.
Electric
game and pass game. Yeah, so it's going to be a tough road for Vista Ridge. Dripping Springs really good at home. They're going to be fired up down there. I asked Galen Zimmerman about, you win an emotional game like Westlake, and then you have to come back and not only get ready for the postseason, but do it on a shorter week. And he said he kind of sounded like an NFL coach or college coach, 24-hour rule. So, we'll see how they come out. But it's a team that can make a run. And in 6A, in the regions that we see here, if you get by the first 2, you're going to play a Central Texas team and then a San Antonio area team. And then your path gets a little bit different because you're going further south, and traditionally you just don't have as good of teams coming out of that part of the state. So, take Westlake and Vandegrift. There's a good chance that'll be the winners of that game. That'll be their toughest game, maybe until the state semifinals. Now, I know there's some good teams in San Antonio. Brennan's really good. Johnson's good. But traditionally, the strength of Central Texas usually has been better than the San Antonio schools.
Yep. And then you get down into the RGV area a little bit, and then you start to get over to Houston when you get further into the playoffs. So all that to be decided here in the next 6 weeks. Tonight on KBVO, like we've been saying, Vista Ridge and Dripping Springs, 7 p.m. They're at Tiger Stadium. And some other matchups tonight, Thursday in the playoffs, San Antonio Lanier and Liberty Hill. That game's going to be out at Panther Stadium. And then Eastside, kind of the feel-good story of this playoff as far as Central Texas teams go. Roger, they haven't been to the playoffs since 1991.
What a cool story.
That is crazy.
And they won 6 ball games, so it's not like they're a 3-win team that got a couple of district wins in a small district. They won 6 games, had a 500 record in district play. And so for those kids that have been through what they've been through, now they won 3 games last year, but prior to that, they had a long drought where they didn't win a ball game. For them to come back to practice for week 11, Levon Whitaker went out there, and it was kind of a mixture between pinching yourself and, hey, this is kind of fun. We want to keep playing. Now, they're going to have a tough time against San Antonio Davenport tonight. But, again, every story is different as far as success. And for Eastside, what a thrill it's got to be for this program to make it into the postseason.
Absolutely a great step forward for those kids, for the program, for just football and AISD in general.
No
I mean, whenever you're playing football in mid-November and you're an Austin ISD school, you've done something pretty good. Now, moving to Friday's matchup on KBVO. Again, no KXAN.com, no KXAN Plus games. Sorry about that. Not much we can do about that. KBVO on Friday, Round Rock, Lake Travis, up at Kelly Reeves Athletic Complex, the Palace on Palmer. And let's go to our full screen here real quick just to...
That's a home game
have
for
a look.
Lake Travis.
It is a home game for Lake Travis, yeah.
They just don't have a field.
Right.
They're going through a big renovation. So Hank Carter, their head coach, told me that you have to plan a little bit, and they didn't know how things were going to shake out opposite them in 25-6A. So they went ahead and just booked the Palace.
Yeah.
And so it's Round Rock. It's an odd thing because you're playing a Round Rock ISD school at a Round Rock ISD stadium.
Yeah.
But again, it's a big stadium. It's not going to be any great advantage for either team. It's not like Dragon Stadium where Round Rock gets to walk out of their locker room onto the field.
Yeah.
And again, Lake Travis is loaded. And probably the least
They're
talked
so
about undefeated team in quite some time.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're led by their defense. So that's going to be tough. Round Rock's 5-5. Got the big win over McNeil. That was the difference. But they've lost a lot of close games. And the most bizarre might have been last Friday night. They go to overtime with Vandegrift. They get the ball. They're trying to kick a field goal to go up 3. It gets blocked. Vandegrift returns it for a walk-off touchdown in overtime.
High school football, man.
Yeah, but they played close games. Their opener, they got away from them against Shoemaker. Everything else has been close, and they have their quarterback, Jack Appel, Oppel back, so we'll see. They go 2 quarterbacks now. That gives the defense something else to think about, although they're trotting out some pretty talented defensive players on that.
Well, I was going to say, I'm sure Hank Carter's defense will be fully prepared for anything the Round Rock Dragons throw at him. You look at Lake Travis, what they've done this season. Roger, they've only played 2 games that have been close this season. They beat Rockwall 28-20, second game of the season. And then they go toe-to-toe with Dripping Springs and win that game 14-7. They beat Westlake by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
like that's to me that just blows my mind.
Luke McBride. I mean, obviously they have a long line of big time quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
And Luke McBride right now not a Power 5, Power 4 guy, but he'll get a chance.
Might be.
He's put up some big numbers in big games. 264, 3 touchdowns, no picks against Westlake, and so back to the recruiting note, because the coaches I talked to say, you know, the NIL thing and the portal thing has really changed the high school recruiting. Right. And that's why when I talk to coaches about kids being committed, so many of them aren't, because schools aren't ready to make the offer for the commitment because they don't know what they're going to do in the portal.
Financially, right?
It really affects the high school football. It's kind of that unintended consequence of how it affects the high school. But, yeah, Lake Travis is loaded. Defense is where, you know, their best known, Carter Buck, defensive end. He's going to TCU, and Ben Duncombe on the opposite side is committed to the University of Kentucky. And then they have Braylon Griffin, Michael Griffin, Longhorn Legends son. He plays in the secondary. They've got a kicker, Braden Doan, whose dad was an offensive lineman at Texas, Robbie Doan. And then they've got a freshman, Austin Doan.
He's
He's a freshman defensive lineman. He's a backup, but he'll play. He'll get snaps. And man, Hank Carter said he's going to be, you know, the next big thing. And oh, by the way, they've got a backup named Arakpo on the defense. Yeah, Brian Arakpo's son also is on that Lake Travis roster.
That's absurd. That is crazy. Back to McBride here real quick. I've got his numbers up. They're worth mentioning. 2,279 passing yards, 24 touchdowns against 5 interceptions. That'll do in any league, man.
Yeah, he's also an outstanding pitcher.
Yeah.
Part of that team that went to the semifinals.
We both love some baseball, so that's nice.
Yeah.
So go back to our full screen here. Other matchups on Friday, I just grabbed a couple of them. Westlake and Vandegrift we'd been talking about, and then Bowie and Hutto. Roger, there's a ton of other matchups here on Friday around the first round of the playoffs. Which matchups come to mind for you? Which ones are you looking at?
Well, we don't have many all Central Texas matchups. Sure. There is one over at Nelson. I mean, we're stretching Central Texas out to the hill country. But for our coverage area, Fredericksburg comes in town to play LBJ. That'll be at Nelson Field tomorrow. How about Cedar Park? I mean, they upset the apple cart there in that Division I district with what they did to Georgetown. Yeah. They'll be at home against Tyler High School. Georgetown does get a home game. The odd team out in that had Georgetown held serve and gone undefeated was Eastview.
Mm-hmm.
Eastview was thinking they were going to get that second home game. They had the tiebreaker over Cedar Park. They don't. They're going to go to Midlothian. So that'll be interesting. The one I'm looking for, Billy, is happening at LaPorte.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Weiss and LaPorte.
Sure, yeah.
Weiss is the number 4 seed. We saw what they did last week to Anderson. They're the 4 seed taking on the 1 seed. And LaPorte's got to be looking at this tape going, how in the world is this team a 4 seed?
That's a good 4 seed. And Weiss up there.
And Anderson plays a Saturday afternoon game.
They do.
At House Park, 3 o'clock on Saturday. So you can sandwich that one in, I don't know, between UT basketball and UT football on Saturday.
Anderson has Friendswood there at House Park. And we'll see how the Trojans, bounce back from that loss to Weiss there in the regular season finale. Obviously, a ton of good football. We're going to have all the coverage for you. KXAN.com. We'll have a whole rundown of the scores. We'll have highlights on KXAN and KXAN Plus. We'll still get you some stuff on KXAN.com and KXAN Plus, even though we can't show you the game. So bear with us here, but tune into KBVO tonight, Thursday, and Friday for by-district Texas high school football playoff games. Roger, it's going to be fun, man.
Yep, looking forward to it. Yeah. Back-to-back games, beautiful weather, and I'm going to make that long drive here in a moment.
Yep. Head southwest to Dripping Springs. It's kind of my neck of the woods almost, but anyway, Vista Ridge versus Dripping Springs tonight on KBVO, 7 p.m. On Friday, we got Round Rock and Lake Travis, 7 p.m. So watch us, please. Channel 14 over the air. Find us on your digital carrier or whatever. So for this episode of the high school football playoff or high school football playoff preview, I'm Billy Gates for Roger Wallace. We'll talk to you again very soon.